After winning 12 million in the lottery, I secretly cashed in the prize without telling my dad. It was because in my previous life, after I won 12 million, my dad told me the very next day that he had been scammed. Not only did I give him all my money to pay off his debts, but I also took on several million in debt myself and was eventually hounded by creditors to jump to my death from a building. But not long after, my father bought a huge mansion for his white moonlight and even held a wedding of the century for his and his white moonlight son. Creditors came to our door every day. Weighed down by my dad's bad debts, I was forced to jump from the building. While the grass on my grave grew 3 meters high, their family lived in a villa, drove luxury cars, and smiled more happily than anyone. Reborn, I looked at the 12 million arrival notification on my phone. This time, my dad wouldn't get a single cent from me. When I looked at the first prize notification, my mind wasn't filled with joy, but complete chaos. Scenes from my previous life rewound like a jammed tape. A debt of nearly 20 million, the dark, tall building, the relentless creditors, my dad's new mansion, the illegitimate son's wedding of the century in designer clothes. Everything felt like a pair of icy hands gripping my throat, making it impossible to even breathe. I looked up and saw the old photo on my bedside table. In the picture, my dad had his arm around me, smiling as brightly as the sun. That smile had deceived me for a lifetime. My mother died in a car accident when I was 8, and after that, my dad raised me alone. I always thought he was hardworking, lonely, and deserved my repayment. So I worked hard, earned money desperately, and saved for his retirement, wanting him to never suffer again. But what I didn't know was that I was the only one suffering. He had long since had a new family, a new son, a new happy life. I was just his money-making machine. I slowly closed my eyes, then opened them again. I was truly reborn. Reborn to the day I received the winning notification. Suddenly, my phone made a sound. I realized that at this moment, I was about to video call my dad to tell him I had won the lottery, that he wouldn't have to work so hard anymore. Video calling was also something we did every day in my previous life. Son, what's up? Dad just got back to the dorm. On the other end of the video, my dad was wearing oil-stained work clothes, sweat streaming down his face, looking tired and haggard. His voice was hoarse. Dad has to work more to save money to buy you a house and get you a wife. You need to find a girlfriend soon. Hearing this, I felt like something was stuck in my throat. In my previous life, the first time I heard this, I was so moved I almost cried. Doesn't a man just want a family? Everyone said fathers were unreliable, but my dad had never remarried for my sake. I thought I was the happiest son in the world. Thinking back now, I was a huge joke. He wasn't saving money for me. He was saving money to buy a house for his white moonlight and illegitimate son. Every time he video called me, he pretended to have just gotten off work, eating instant noodles, having no money. In reality, he was already living at his white moonlight's house, with a table full of sumptuous dishes. The instant noodles were specially left in the dorm for me to see. He picked up the cup of instant noodles and shook it. I'll go eat in a bit. Don't you worry about Dad. In my previous life, every time I saw this, my heart ached so much that I would send him 1,000 yuan every month so he could eat better. And him? He used my money to pay for his white moonlight's beauty treatments, to buy limited edition shoes for his illegitimate son, while their family lived a beautiful and happy life together. Back then, I was still foolishly thinking, Dad really has it too hard. Looking at it now, I just want to laugh. It's nothing, Dad. Have you eaten? I try to keep my tone from being too cold. Not yet. I'll have some instant noodles in a bit. As he spoke, he deliberately showed me the broken and dirty little table in his dorm. I stared at the screen for 3 seconds, but my mind automatically switched to how he looked in my previous life at his white moonlight's house. Brand new kitchen and bathroom, a table laden with fish and meat, the clinking of red wine glasses. I pulled at the corner of my mouth. Then you eat well, Dad, and take care of yourself. All right, don't you work too hard either, he said with a loving smile. As soon as the video call ended, a dull pain throbbed in my chest. In my previous life, on the day I jumped from the building, I was actually thinking that as long as I died, the creditors wouldn't go after my dad. Thinking back now, I just want to slap myself. The father I had always respected, trusted, and relied on was such a person with a benevolent fatherly facade and a completely different life behind my back. Then I even helped him carry a debt of 8 million, was cornered by creditors until I couldn't breathe, and jumped from a tall building still thinking I was helping him solve his problems. After I died, he buried me hastily, using the excuse that he had no money. 3 months later, he married his white moonlight, moved into a large villa, and held a wedding of the century for his illegitimate son. And the grass on my grave grew past my knees with no one to tend to it. Thinking of this, my hand holding the phone went numb. Anger, hatred, coldness, and sorrow all churned together, making my whole body feel like it was on fire. I looked at my rented room. It was shabby and worn. With a monthly salary of $5,000, I spent $1,500 on rent and gave $1,000 to my father. So that the two of us could have a better life sooner, I scrimped and saved, putting money aside for the future. I stared at the first prize lottery notification on my phone, my fingertips trembling slightly. I was finally free from poverty. I couldn't wait. I had to claim the prize immediately, any later, and I was afraid I would be swayed by the hesitation that plagued my past life. I jogged all the way to the lottery station, the wind cooling my head, but my heart was wound as tight as a string. The staff in the prize redemption hall confirmed my information and transferred the huge prize money into a temporary account. After I counted the winnings, the first thing I did was go to the bank to open a new card. Not a replacement, but a brand new card, a new account linked to a new email address. The air conditioning in the bank was strong, but as I stood at the counter, my palms were sweating. The young woman helping me asked, "Do you need to activate mobile banking?" "Yes." "Do you want to add encryption?" "Give me all of it, the highest level you have." I split the 12 million, depositing 2 million into 4 different banks and buying some investment products. Seeing that long string of numbers resting quietly on my phone screen, my throat suddenly felt a bit tight. I hadn't thought about what I could do with this money yet. For now, it was best to leave it untouched. Saving it was always the right move. I had to test my dad to see if this was his plan all along. I bought some cheap fruit and a large box of instant noodles, then hailed a cab to go to my dad's rented room overnight. When I got close, I switched to a shared bike. In the past, I would always call him before I came, and he would always come to pick me up. This time, I wanted to launch a surprise attack. Sure enough, he wasn't in the dorm. Someone else was living there, an uncle I didn't recognize. "Old Sue, doesn't he live in Lihua community? Why would he be living here?" the man said with a smile after learning why I was there. Lihua community. Wasn't that the first neighborhood we lived in? After my mother passed away, my father said he had sold the house because of the large debts incurred from my mother's illness. Could he have lied to me? Carrying the instant noodles and oranges, I pulled out my phone with one hand and made a video call to him. The phone rang for a long time before he answered. "Dad, where are you?" "Not in your dorm." "Son, I was just sleeping. I worked a late shift last night." The video feed on his end was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. That must have been hard. "Where are you sleeping?" "I brought you some food. I'm in a co-worker's dorm. They're all asleep, so it's not convenient to talk on video." "Why didn't you let me know you were coming?" "Just leave the stuff with the security guard for now. I'll go get it later." The video call ended shortly after. I glanced at the factory complex in front of me and left the things with the guard. "Sorry, son, for making you come all this way for nothing. Got the things. Thanks for the support, son. This will last Dad for a good while." About 2 hours later, I received a text from my father with a photo attached. I had been watching from a shop across the street the whole time and never saw him appear. Did someone else pick it up for him? Or did he give it away? I came all this way, and he wouldn't even see me. Something was definitely fishy. I decided to take a trip to Lihua community. Finding our old home from memory, I hesitated for a moment before knocking on the door. The person who opened it was Annie Lee. In my past life, Annie Lee and my mom were the best of friends. She would often visit our home when my mom was alive. "May I ask who you are?" "Hello, does Su Daqiang live here?" I had dressed up a bit today, wearing a hat and a mask. She probably didn't recognize me, and I pretended not to know her either. "He's out. Do you need him for something?" "It's nothing. I'm a friend of his son. His son asked me to come and check on his parents." I then handed her the milk I had just bought. "A friend of his son? You must be Kai Kai's friend, right? Come in, have a seat." Auntie Lee immediately welcomed me in with a smile. "Kai Kai, could it be that illegitimate son, Su Kai? It couldn't be such a coincidence." "Yes, Auntie." I nodded, but my feet didn't step inside. I only glanced in. The house was mostly the same as before, only the family photo of three on the wall now showed my dad, Annie Lee, and her son. I felt something inside me collapse. Annie Lee was with my dad. She had betrayed my mom. Did my dad also betray my mom? In my previous life, Annie Lee's son didn't seem to have a good relationship with her. It was said that he had always lived with his ex-husband. Andy, I won't sit down. I just came to have a look, and I'll be leaving now. After saying that, I turned and fled. I couldn't believe that the father I had always trusted had given our house to his white moonlight to live in and even lied to me, saying he had sold it to pay for my mother's medical treatment. I was trembling nonstop after I came out. No wonder my maternal grandfather's family cut off all contact with my father after my mother died. At that time, I didn't understand and actually believed my father's nonsense that my grandparents didn't love me. If I remember correctly, this house was part of my mother's dowry, which means I have a share in it. I had just left the residential complex when I received a video call from my father. Son, where are you? I deliberately parked the car in a corner, answered the video call, and stretched lazily. Dad, I just got home and was about to go upstairs to sleep. I'm so tired after making a trip to your place. What's wrong? You're awake and getting ready for the night shift. Yeah, it's the night shift again tonight. He yawned, holding his work uniform in his hand. You work hard, Dad. Keep it up, earn more, and I'll strive to buy a big house to take care of you in your old age. I waved my fist to cheer him on. We always used to do this. Okay, so. His eyes were shifty. Dad, are you hiding something from me? No, what could I possibly be hiding? He forced a smile and said, It's nothing. Really nothing. You should get some rest. He hung up the phone in a hurry after saying that. I looked at Lihua Complex, thinking about how I could get this house back. The first thing to do now is to confirm whether my dad and Annie Lee have already registered their marriage. If they have, then according to inheritance laws, their son would also have a share in this house. If not, I still have time. Thinking of this, I decided to stay in my hometown for 2 days first. Then I immediately requested leave from work. I have money now, so a couple of days off won't make a difference. Unexpectedly, this matter was resolved faster than I had imagined. Looking at the information in the system showing my dad was married, my mind buzzed once again. In my previous life, I had never discovered that he had another family. The date of his marriage registration was actually 1 year after my mother's death. The name on the property deed was already Sukai's. He not only betrayed my mother, but he also gave the house to the other party. No wonder my grandparents came to our door so frequently during that time, calling him a heartless man. He told me it was just the old folks acting unreasonably after losing their daughter. Then why did he raise me? What was his motive? Could it be? I suddenly felt that things were more terrifying than I had imagined. This is all the information. Don't reveal that I'm the one who told you, for the sake of our old friendship. Coming out from my old classmate's place, I felt like my legs were no longer my own. I spent a sleepless night in a 5-star hotel in my hometown. Combining my previous life with the truth I had just discovered, it seemed a larger conspiracy awaited me. My mind was a mess, and I wished I could rush to my father right now and demand a clear explanation. But now is not the time. I can't let him off so easily. I must find out the truth. I clenched my fists and decided to calm down first. In my previous life, my father lied to me, saying he had been scammed, and I, believing him, transferred the money to him. So he must be after my money. I quickly opened my bank account. $800,000 in savings lay there quietly. That was the initial capital I had saved through thousands of days of scrimping and saving, all for the purpose of buying a big house in the future to live with my father. He said he wanted to live in a villa in the suburbs. I recalled the past years. I gave my father about 20,000 yuan almost every year. He also knew how much I had in savings. He said that there should be transparency between father and son, so that he would know my progress and have something to look forward to. However, I didn't know about his savings. He said it wasn't easy for him to raise me alone and that he had to earn money to support the family. So I learned to be independent from a young age. He said he couldn't find a good job and could only work as a bricklayer to raise me. And he also had to work night shifts, often leaving me alone in a rented room, fed one meal, but not knowing where the next would come from. I have several scars on my hands from cutting vegetables. To save money, I always walked to school and never dared to ask for new shoes or new clothes. Occasionally, he would bring me some ill-fitting old clothes, saying they belonged to a coworker's child. Thinking about it now, those clothes are all a bit bigger than my size. They must have been Sue Kai's old clothes that he didn't want anymore. Even during university, I paid my tuition with loans and worked part-time jobs. I never asked him for a single cent for living expenses because he often said he couldn't earn much money. I didn't dare to get into a relationship because my family had no money. Every cent had to be saved for the future. It turns out it wasn't that he couldn't earn money, but that this money couldn't be spent on me. He could have chosen not to raise me at all, so why the charade? All the money he spent on me over the years added up to less than 20,000 yuan, and I had given him around 200,000. All he ever gave me were the almost daily feigned inquiries about my well-being and the social media post about what an obedient son he had. Speaking of social media, I quickly grabbed the phone with the burner WeChat account and looked at his feed. The posts I could see on my main account about how hard he worked overtime late at night, how it was all worth it for his son, and all the videos of me buying him food were all gone. In their place were photos of various gourmet meals and pictures of him with Annie Lee's family. Happy birthday to my son today. The accompanying photo was of an exquisite cake, a luxury I hadn't received since I was 8. Wife's cooking is so delicious. I even saw a family portrait on his feed. In the photo, he, Andy Lee, and that son were smiling sweetly and happily. The more I scrolled down, the colder my heart grew. His feed also had pictures of my grandparents and my aunt, whom I hadn't seen in years. After my mother passed away, my father said he sold the house and took me away from our old neighborhood. We moved to a remote complex in the suburbs. He told me my grandparents didn't want me to come back, fearing it would stir up painful memories. He said we wouldn't go back either, because he loved my mother and returning would only make him sadder, and he was even more afraid of making me sad. It turned out to be all excuses, just a way for him to take me away and hide the fact that he had another family. For a moment, I didn't know what to do. Everything around me felt fake. For all these years, my world had consisted of only my father, and he turned out to be a fraud. His social media was visible to strangers, and I scrolled back through years of posts. He celebrated Sue Kai's birthday every single year. While on my birthday, he would just send a text and a 6 yuan red envelope. He always said he would make it up to me with a big celebration when our financial situation improved. At that thought, I immediately canceled the family payment feature I had set up for him and emptied the shopping cart of the clothes I was about to buy him. He didn't deserve it. I called a friend for advice, and they told me it would be difficult to get the house back through legal means. That meant I had to resort to unconventional methods. 2 days later, I returned to the city where I worked, moved out of my current apartment, and checked into a hotel near my company. Having been frugal for years, I didn't have many belongings. A single backpack was enough to hold everything. I used my new card to replace my painfully slow computer and bought myself some new clothes. Then I took my annual leave and went on a trip to clear my head. In all my years of working, I had never taken a vacation. Su Daqiang's social media, however, was filled with frequent family trips. Back then, to save money, I had given up better educational opportunities. Now, I was going to compensate myself for all of it. I didn't video call Su Daqiang every day as I used to. Instead, he started calling me daily, but I rejected every call. I'm on a business trip recently. It's not convenient. Su Daqiang continued to send me pictures of his instant noodles and rice with boiled water, just like he always did. In the past, I would have sent him a red envelope whenever I saw those pictures. Now, I was sunbathing on the beach, sipping a cocktail, and would only send back an emoji after a long while. Keep it up, Dad. The day I get you a big house is getting closer. When I returned from my trip, most of the gloom in my heart had dissipated. So, I picked a day and called Su Daqiang. He rejected the call. "What's up, son? Dad's at work." He then sent a picture. In it, he was in work clothes on a construction site, drenched in sweat. I looked at the post he had just made. "Future daughter-in-law is treating us to dinner. Look at this big lobster," accompanied by a picture from a luxurious hotel. "Nothing much, just miss you, Dad." The words tasted like ash in my own mouth. Work has been too tiring lately. I want to quit. I thought he might agree, but he said the same thing as always. "Son, Dad will talk to you later." I remember in my past life, when I told him I was tired of work, he told me to hang in there, that we would be able to buy our own house soon. It seemed his illegitimate son's happy occasion was drawing near. From what I gather from his social media, Su Kai was 7 years younger than me. That meant he was seeing someone else while my mom was still alive. No wonder they argued so much the year she passed away. I took out a piece of paper and slowly reviewed my findings. At this moment, my heart was filled with only one thing: revenge. That night, Su Daqiang called. "What's wrong, son? Did our precious boy get wronged at work today?" On the video call, his face was grimy. I couldn't help but find it amusing. Wasn't he tired of putting on this act just to deceive me? "It's nothing, just tired from work. I was thinking that I haven't taken a break in so many years, and I want to quit and rest for a bit." I pointed the phone's video at myself, trying to get a clear sense of his true intentions. "Besides, I'm getting old, and I don't have a permanent place to live." "Dad, how much money have you saved? Why don't we buy a house so I can settle down too? I'll find a girlfriend, get married, and give you a big, healthy grandson. You won't have to work so hard anymore, and our family can live a good life together." "My son has grown up," he said after listening, seemingly lost in thought. "The economy is so bad right now. You should be careful about quitting your job. You're tired. You should take a good rest. I'll look into buying a house. You have 800,000, and while I don't have much, it's enough for a down payment." As expected, he knew exactly how much money I had. I suddenly felt I had been too naive. "Dad, we could go back to our hometown. I looked into it. In our hometown, if we choose a more remote location, we can pay in full. A small 2-bedroom apartment will be fine. One room for you, and one for me and my wife." "That won't do. A small 2-bedroom is too small. And let's not go back to our hometown. Every time I go back, I'm reminded of your mother." As he spoke, he began to wipe away tears that weren't there. In my past life, I had somehow never noticed what a great actor this man was. "Dad, Mama's been gone for over 20 years. It's time to move on. You can start a new life too," I advised, suppressing a smile. "Miss my mom?" If he truly missed my mom, would he have given her house away and raised her son like a personal blood bank? "What are you talking about, child? Your mother is the only one in my heart," Su Daqiang said, raising his voice. "How could you forget your mother so quickly? I will never forget her in this lifetime." "Heh, here he goes again, trying to manipulate me." "Dad, I dreamed about Mom a few days ago. She told me to come back to our hometown and buy a house. She also blamed me for not visiting Grandpa and Grandma all these years. She called me unfilial for being 30 and still not married. And she scolded me for leaving you all alone out here. I think Mom was right." I looked up and squeezed a few extra drops from the eye drops I had prepared. "Son, you just miss your mother too much," he said, stunned for a moment. "Dad, let's go visit Mom's grave," I suggested. "You know, whenever I go, it brings back memories. Your mother was such a wonderful person. It's a shame she passed away so early, leaving the two of us behind," Su Daqiang said in a low voice. "So, Dad, I've made up my mind. I'm going to quit my job and come back to be with you. With your money and mine, we'll buy a small house. I'll find another job in our hometown, get married, and our family can live a good life together." He was stunned for a long time, seemingly unsure how to respond. It looked like someone beside him was nudging him. "Dad," I asked my classmate. "In the old neighborhood where we used to live, a 30% down payment on the worst 2-bedroom apartment is only 500,000. If you help me with a mortgage for a few decades, that should be about enough. Our family being together is more important than anything." "Son, I think we should be cautious. This is no small matter," he said, panicking. "Dad, I'm your only son. What concerns could you have? Besides, it would be so lonely to leave you in our hometown by yourself. Isn't the point of raising a son to have support in your old age?" "Son, don't be so quick to decide. Let's discuss this properly. This is a big deal. We can't rush it. I have to go to work now. I'll video call you later." With that, he hung up. A cold smirk played on my lips. Work? More like going to scheme for a counter-strategy. I looked at the resignation letter in my hand, grabbed my suitcase, checked out of the hotel, and got into a car heading back to my hometown. The place Su Daqiang claimed to work was some distance from her hometown. Back in my hometown, I checked into a 5-star hotel again. The first thing I did was go to my mother's grave to offer incense. It happened to be the anniversary of her death. I had gotten the address from my cousin. Su Daqiang had always said he was afraid the sight would stir up painful emotions, so he never took me. Instead, he would send a video or a photo each time, claiming he had visited. When I arrived at the cemetery, there were no weeds. It was actually quite tidy. I wondered if my mother had died with unresolved grievances. The wind in the cemetery was a bit strong. Suddenly, I noticed a photo on the adjacent tombstone looked familiar. It was my maternal grandparents. The date of their passing was 2 years after my mother's. I sat by the grave for a long time. So my grandparents did not love my mother, as Su Daqiang had claimed. The inscription on my mother's tombstone read, "Grave of a beloved daughter," not "Grave of a beloved wife." I decided to wait nearby to see if Su Daqiang would show up today. I pulled out the photos he had sent me on previous anniversaries and examined them closely. They seemed different from what I was seeing now. After zooming in, I realized the adjacent grave was different. The picture he had sent showed an inscription that read, "Grave of a beloved wife," but what I saw before me was "Grave of a beloved daughter." And yet, I remembered clearly that this was where my mother was buried. Could it be that my mom is buried in 2 different places? I decided to video call Su Daqiang, but he rejected it again. It seemed like it wasn't a convenient time. "Dad, where's Mom's grave? I want to go see it." After a long while, he finally replied, "What's wrong, son? I'm on my way to the cemetery right now. I'll send you a picture later." "Dad, I want to go myself. I miss Mom." A wicked thought suddenly crossed my mind. I started spamming him with video calls. Since he was ignoring me, I would act crazy for him. After about a dozen calls, he finally answered. It was the same miserable face. "Son, what's wrong?" "Dad, I want to go see Mom. She came to me in a dream again last night, saying I never visit her." I brought the phone close to my face so he couldn't see the scenery outside. "She even called me unfilial and said if I don't go see her, she'll make my life difficult from now on." As I said this, I prayed silently in my heart. "I'm sorry, Mom. Your son is going to take back everything that belongs to me. Don't overthink it. I'll go to her grave later and have a good talk with her. I'll head over after I get off work. I have to get back to work now, son. Keep it up." With that, he hung up again. I sat at the cemetery for several hours, but there was no sign of Su Daqiang. Around 6 o'clock, I received a photo from Su Daqiang. "Son, I've been to your mom's grave. I talked to her, everything is fine. Don't let your imagination run wild." I looked at the photo, found the old ones to compare, and zoomed in. Rage welled up inside me. That damn Su Daqiang. The photo he sent of visiting Mom's grave was photoshopped. Only the offerings placed in front were different. And to think of all the times I listened to him talk about how much money he spent on paper money and flowers. I not only transferred him the money, but also reimbursed his travel expenses. He kept saying it was for my own good, but in reality, he never even visited her. 10. Thanks for your hard work, Dad. I suppressed my anger and replied as usual, but this time, I didn't send any money. I'll come see you after I'm done with work in a few days. I'm going back to work now. I had dinner with my cousin. It was only then that I learned my uncle and aunt had been the ones tending to the grave all these years. We always thought you were just like Su Daqiang, cold and emotionless. I never imagined you were a victim too. My cousin sighed endlessly after hearing my story. It had taken a lot of effort just to get her to meet with me. Dad is old now. He probably won't see you. He hates you and your dad. He hates your dad for being heartless and hates you for being unfilial. I understand, cousin. Thank you. My heart was heavy. Because of Su Daqiang's lies, I had missed out on so much over the years. I had always thought that after my mother passed away, my uncle stopped loving me too. He adored me when I was a child, often lifting me high onto his shoulders and buying me all sorts of toys. My favorite thing was to follow him around, shouting, "Uncle! Can I go see Uncle?" Just secretly. "Don't go. He can't handle any agitation right now." My cousin sighed. When I left, I quietly left my cousin 100,000 yuan. It turned out Su Daqiang had angered my maternal grandparents to death. They were also the ones who had paid for the burial plot. There was an empty spot next to it, which my uncle had reserved for himself. I returned to the Lihua residential community, gathered some information, and then began my plan. "Dad, where are you?" "I quit my job. I'm coming to find you." At 2 in the morning, I made a video call to Su Daqiang. I couldn't let him sleep so peacefully. He didn't answer, so I called his phone. "What is it, son?" "Who is it?" "It's the middle of the night." I heard another voice on his end. "Dad, it's me. I just dreamed of Mom again. She said I lied to her, that not only did I not visit her, but I also didn't stay by your side." "Dad, I'm coming back to be with you. I've quit my job, and I'm on my way back now. You can come pick me up tomorrow morning." Before he could answer, I hung up. He called back 10 minutes later, but I didn't pick up. Son, don't be impulsive. Dad will come to see you tomorrow. I still didn't reply. At 4 in the morning, I sent Su Daqiang a picture, a photo of the entrance to the Lihua residential community. Dad, I'm back at the old residential community. Mom told me to come back. I couldn't control myself. Son, you wait there. I'm coming to get you. I'll be there in an hour. Don't move. 10 minutes later, he replied as expected. It seemed he was panicking. A moment later, my phone rang. Wawa, it's Annie Lee. Where are you? Your father said you were back. I'm coming to pick you up. Auntie Lee, I'm at the Menghua residential community. Isn't that near your place? No need to trouble yourself. I'm just here reminiscing about my mother. That's not far. I'm coming. Wait for me. Don't move around at the entrance of the residential area. The voice on the other end was very flustered, which made me laugh. I changed back into my tattered and dirty clothes, which I had just traded with someone today. Afterward, I entered the Lihua residential area. After watching Annie Lee and Su Daqiang leave, I stood at the door of my old home and took a picture. Dad, I'm at our old home. I wonder if Mom saw it. I came back to see it. I really want to go in and have a look, but I'm afraid of disturbing the owners. Then I simply sat down at the doorstep. Su Daqiang arrived even faster than he said he would, with Annie Lee by his side. Less than 10 minutes after I sent the message, the two of them appeared one after the other. Son, what are you doing here? Get up quickly. Su Daqiang was still wearing the work uniform from the video. Dad, I went forward and hugged him. His hair smelled of hair gel, and his clothes didn't have the smell of a car repair shop. Why did you suddenly come back? Let's go. Don't stand at someone else's doorstep. He put his arm around me enthusiastically. Wawa. Annie Lee also came up to greet me when she saw me. You've grown so big. Auntie Lee, sorry to trouble you. I smelled the same laundry detergent scent on both of them. Let's go home, she said as she unlocked the door with her key. They're not even trying to hide it. I had no choice but to follow them in and see what tricks they were up to. Back then, your mom was sick, and we were in a hurry to sell the house. I needed the money urgently, so your Annie Lee bought it, Su Daqiang explained. After entering the house, Annie Lee took out 2 new pairs of slippers. You guys can wear these. I glanced at the wall. The previous family photo was gone. It seemed they were prepared. Thank you, Annie. You're too kind. Your mother was my good sister. It's a pity she passed away so early. A hint of sadness appeared on Annie Lee's face. I couldn't tell if it was real or fake. Yes, she passed away too early. It would be great if she were still alive. I've been dreaming about her a lot lately. She said I'm not a filial son, that I haven't come back to see her in so long. She also said I don't even visit her on the anniversary of her death. I walked around the room. The decoration had been almost completely redone. Only one room was locked, and I couldn't go in. Wawa, don't wander around, my father said, slumping on the sofa. You must be missing your mother too much, Auntie Lee said, bringing a glass of water. I miss her very much too, she said, picking up a photo from the TV cabinet. In the photo, she and my mother were hugging intimately. Yes, my dad is also at that age. I was thinking of coming back to accompany my dad and not leaving again in the future. I don't need you to accompany me. I can still work, Su Daqiang said firmly. That's right. Wawa, your dad is still young. You should hurry up and find a wife and buy a house. Auntie Lee chimed in. Annie, I actually came back to buy a house. After looking around, I still feel a connection to the Lihua residential area. This place has the smell of my mother. What? You're coming back to buy a house? Su Daqiang almost jumped up, but Annie Lee held him down. Don't be anxious. Listen what the child has to say. Dad, you're just too happy, aren't you? I told you last time. I've already decided. I'm buying in the Lihua residential area. This is our hometown. Later, I'll marry a wife and let you enjoy the happiness of family life sooner, I said while observing Su Daqiang's expression. It's a pity that Auntie Lee isn't selling this house. If she were, this would be the best. This place has the strongest smell of my mother. I looked at the house thoughtfully. Wawa, I think you can still wait a while. There's no hurry. Besides, you haven't lived here for many years, Su Daqiang said, taking out a cigarette. Dad, stop smoking. It's not good for your health. I snatched the cigarette from him. It's okay, it's close here. Besides, where Dad is home. I don't want to wander around outside anymore. Auntie Lee, don't you think I'm right? Seeing that Su Daqiang didn't answer, I looked at Annie Lee. Wawa, you really want to buy a house? And you want to buy this one? Andy Lee's eyes lit up. I knew the fish was on the hook. Yes, Andy Lee, an old house is more comfortable. How about this? Annie has been thinking about selling this house recently. My son is getting married and needs a new place. Annie Lee moved closer to me. What about the price? I knew the fish had taken the bait. We'll go by the market price for the price. Maybe even a little lower. We're all family. You see, the thing is, can you give a little more in cash? As soon as she said that, I screamed good calculation in my heart. Congratulations. Annie, your son is so grown up. It would be great if Annie sold it. It's all thanks to Annie for helping us take over this house back then. How much cash do you need? This house has a market price of almost $3 million. What do you think of $1 million in cash? Annie also sees you as her own child. Family shouldn't speak like strangers. I sneered inwardly. This house had already been transferred to Sue Kai by my dad, and now she wants me to buy it back. Auntie, I want to buy it too, but I don't have that much money. How about I discuss it with my dad? Dad, won't you help out a bit? I turned to look at Su Daqiang. Let's not buy it. Su Daqiang refused. Dad, don't you miss Mom? Mom used to love this house so much. She often cooked your favorite dishes in the kitchen. I continued. I only have 200,000. He finally compromised. But that's not enough, Dad. Auntie Lee wants 1 million, I said, pretending to be pitiful, and opened my phone. Don't you have your own savings? Su Daqiang asked me. I used it for an investment. I never dared to tell you. I opened my account balance, which showed less than 2,000 yuan. This investment is very good. You can earn 10% in half a year. I then opened another investment interface, where my 800,000 was. Hua, you never used to spend money so recklessly, Su Daqiang frowned. Dad, isn't it because the housing prices have gone up? How could that little bit of money be enough? I have to find a way to make money. Now, there are monthly dividends. Isn't this faster than our jobs? Besides, don't I still have you for buying a house? I'm your only son. Money is meant to be spent. Besides, we are buying Auntie Lee's house, so we're not losing out. Auntie Lee, don't you agree? I looked at Auntie Lee and blinked. Yes, Hua is right. Aren't parents all for their children? Auntie Lee said with a smile that was clearly a little unnatural. But Hua, you have to be cautious with investments. Don't worry. Annie Lee, my friend, is an insider. He has connections. Auntie Lee, now we're just waiting for my dad's down payment. I'll pay the mortgage later. According to the development in my previous life, if he was after my money, Su Daqiang would definitely try to trick me out of the money in my hands. In this life, I'll spend it all first. I have already asked a real estate agent about this house. They listed it for $2 million, but they want me to buy it back for $3 million. Moreover, Su Kai is getting married soon, and the wedding house is urgently needed. The house will be registered under my dad's name then. I continued to mention, I don't believe they won't take the bait. Anyway, I have plenty of money and time spare now. Hua, this is a big deal. Let's wait a little longer. Su Daqiang stood up. I have to go to work. Where are you going later? I've resigned anyway, and I'm planning to stay in my hometown for a few days. How about I go to your dormitory? I also stood up to see how long he could keep up the pretense. That's fine, but outsiders are not allowed in the factory. Let Hua stay with me. It's rare for him to come back. It's just one more person for dinner. You can come over for dinner after work, Auntie Lee said, wearing an apron. That would be so inconvenient, Su Daqiang said hypocritically. I found it very funny. Su Daqiang must be having a hard time pretending. I say, Dad, why don't you and Auntie Lee just get together and live together? It would be good to have a companion. You kid, what nonsense are you talking about? Su Daqiang glared at me. Hurry up and leave. Don't bother others. So, Dad, we still have to buy our own house. Otherwise, we won't have a place to live when we come home. I went out the door with him. But I didn't go with him. I turned and walked towards a nearby 5-star hotel. Where are you going? I'm going there. I'm staying there. You didn't really think I was staying at Auntie Lee's, did you? I said with a smile. It's a good thing I'm used to wandering. After saying that, I left, leaving him disheveled in the wind. I knew he would turn around and go back to Auntie Lee's. After all, the factory job was fake. He probably couldn't pretend to be a good father anymore. My return at this time must be a headache for him. Are you sure this will work? My cousin asked me on the phone. I'm not sure, but they need to sell the house now, I said, sitting on a massage chair in the 5-star hotel. I also looked into what happened to Annie back then. It was indeed an accident. That's good. Otherwise, this debt would never be settled. It would have to be paid with a life. I looked outside. The lights were dim, but unfortunately, none of them belonged to my home. The thing you asked me to do has been done. I don't want the money. It's not easy for you to be out on your own. Keep it for yourself. After hanging up with my cousin, I had mixed feelings. A relative I hadn't contacted in years was actually better than my own father. I'm just waiting for Su Daqiang to come to me now. Compared to the urgent market price of 2 million and my 3 million, even a fool knows how to choose. Sell it to me, I'll take on a loan, and then the deed will be in my dad's name. The moment he and she show their marriage certificate, not only will the house have nothing to do with me, but I'll also be stuck paying the mortgage. To think that Su Daqiang, my own father, would scheme against me like this. It feels so good to be back home. I opened WeChat and posted on my moments, setting the location to the 5-star hotel I was staying at. Around noon, Su Daqiang called. Son, where are you? I'm at the hotel. I replied lazily. Let's have a meal together later, a welcome home for you. I was in a hurry to get to work this morning. Okay, Dad, my treat. Just come to the hotel. The moment Su Daqiang arrived at the hotel, he started scolding me for staying in such an expensive place when I was unemployed. I excitedly waved my phone, showing him the investment product. Dad, this investment can make over 1,000 a day. It's even more than my old salary. This hotel stay was a bonus for signing up. I can live here for more than half a year. Really? Su Daqiang's eyes lit up. Really? I had the waiter bring a bottle of Maotai. This liquor was a gift too. Dad, you've worked hard all these years. After we had eaten and drunk our fill, Su Daqiang stated his purpose. Son, I think you have a point. Annie Lee's house is full of memories. Dad will give you the down payment, you take out the loan, and we'll buy it. But Dad, don't you have very little in savings? I paused. It's working this quickly? I checked, Su Daqiang said, feigning drunkenness. I have 600,000. I can borrow a bit more. How about this, Dad? You get $1 million together, I'll go borrow some more, and when my investment matures, we'll have 2 million. We could just pay Annie Lee in cash, no need for a loan. That would work. Yes, Dad. I'm just not sure if Annie Lee will agree to transfer the deed first and get the money later. I raised my glass. I'll go talk to her when I get back. Then I'll have to trouble you, Dad. I toasted him and also had him take the complimentary gifts from the hotel back with him. 15. The next day, rumors began to spread through the Lihua residential community. They said that after a certain homeowner's ex-wife died, he moved his illegitimate son and mistress into the house, kicked out his own biological son, and even transferred the house to the illegitimate child. I've even seen that son. He's such a well-behaved kid. What a pity to have such a black-hearted father. Back in the day, that man's wife was so good to him. I sat in the crowd, listening to everyone's discussion with a satisfied smile. Someone even suggested that the homeowner had killed his own son. Everyone was just short of saying which specific apartment it was. I held a gift in my hand and looked at the call on my phone. Wawa, are you free? Come over to my place for dinner. It was as expected, Annie Lee. I accepted the invitation, thanked her, and then headed over with the gift and my elegantly dressed cousin. Auntie Lee, this is a gift for you. I handed over the bird's nest and fruit I had bought. You shouldn't have. Just coming over is enough. Auntie Lee's face bloomed into a smile. And this is my girlfriend. We're planning to get married. Wonderful, wonderful. Your dad didn't even mention it. Auntie Lee's expression flickered for a moment before she put the smile back on. Wawa, I invited you over today for 2 reasons. One is for a meal, and the second is to ask, do you still want to buy this house? Annie, as you know, all my money is tied up in investments right now, and my dad's savings aren't enough. I do want to buy it, and I think your price of 3 million is very fair, but I pretended to be in a difficult position. I don't have the money. Maybe you should sell it to someone else first. You're about to marry this young lady. You'll need to buy a house eventually. You need to give a girl that security, Auntie Lee said slowly. Annie, I don't need a house to marry Hua. I'm happy to. My mom said we can live at my place, my cousin said with a straight face. My dear girl, a house is necessary. This is our Hua's promise to you. Auntie, young people getting married don't care about these things. Besides, I couldn't bear to see Hua burdened with a loan. I wanted to laugh watching my cousin's performance. Auntie, I really don't have the money. Thank you for looking after this house for us all these years, I said again, sincerely. That's right, Annie. Hua Hua said that in a few months when he has the money, he'll buy me a big villa and put in my name. My cousin beside me continued. 3 million for this place doesn't seem like a good deal. Don't talk nonsense. I interrupted her. This is an old house. It's about the memories. It's not about whether it's a good deal or not. Just then, Annie Lee's phone rang, and she went into the bedroom to answer it. I could faintly hear, "What?" It went up again. "Don't worry, I'm working on it. You two make yourselves comfortable. I'll go make dinner," she said when she came out, clearly preoccupied. It was almost time for dinner when Su Daqiang came back, still in his work clothes. "Hello, uncle. This is a gift for you." My cousin handed him a bag. "Why did you bring her here?" Su Daqiang pulled me into a corner and asked quietly. "I can't exactly take you to my dorm." I spread my hands. Besides, Annie Lee happened to ask me to dinner today, so I brought her along. We're getting married, so we had to meet you sooner or later. Getting married? Where would you get the money? Su Daqiang asked. Dad, I have savings, they're just tied up in investments. Didn't you say you were working hard to earn money for my marriage? Now I have a bride, and after you pay up, you can enjoy your golden years. We'll even give you a bunch of fat grandsons. I looked at Su Daqiang's unpleasant expression, feeling a sense of satisfaction, and I went to my mom's grave to ask, getting married this year will bring prosperity to the family. Isn't that money for buying you a house? The house can wait. I have true love now, and she said she's fine without a house. How could she not want a house when she's marrying you? Su Daqiang was getting anxious. Well, she's happy with it. Besides, the house is 3 million, and I don't have the money to give Annie Lee right now. Why don't we wait until my investments pay off, and I can buy a cheaper place nearby? You won't have to help me with a loan then. I crossed my legs and suddenly noticed Annie Lee kept glancing toward the living room. You definitely have to buy a house, but I don't have the money right now. My investment money won't be available for another 6 months. How about you help me out for now, Dad? Just then, the real estate agent brought a young couple to see the house. The house is nice, just a bit old. 2 million is a little expensive. This neighborhood isn't worth much these days. What do you mean it's not worth much? If I had the money, I'd buy it for 3 million. I retorted. You don't know, young man. Haven't you heard? There's a family in this neighborhood. They say the husband's wife died in an accident, and he married his mistress not long after. He even kicked his own son out, the person said loudly. That kind of gossip has to be fake. This is a great house, I said dismissively. I saw Annie Lee and Su Daqiang's faces turn ugly. If the house were cheaper, a little over 1 million, I might consider it. But 2 million, forget it. With that, they left. Before dinner, the agent brought several more groups of people, and every one of them mentioned the gossip. Dad, this neighborhood has so many stories, huh? I brought it up intentionally at the dinner table. I've never heard them before. You believe everything people say, Su Daqiang said with a dark face. The table was filled with dishes Annie Lee had carefully prepared. We chatted on and off. After dinner, Auntie Lee pulled him into the room. Should we get going? I have to get back, my cousin said to me. Let's go. I stood up and called towards the room. Auntie Lee, we're leaving. Wait, Hua Hua, hold on. Why don't you reconsider this house? I can give you a discount, Auntie Lee said, rushing out. Auntie, I really don't have the money right now. My girlfriend has to go, so we're leaving now. With that, my cousin, carrying her LV bag, linked her arm in mine, and we left, leaving them to their anxiety. The moment we stepped outside, my cousin couldn't help but laugh. Did you see the look on that woman's face? The way she was so anxious, huh? All right, save the laughter for later. Don't give us away. Let's go see Uncle. Uncle had finally agreed to meet me. He looked much older than I had imagined. In the room, there was a photo of him with my mom and my grandparents. While you're here. He was so excited when he heard you were back. He couldn't sleep all night, my aunt said, wiping her tears. My cousin had already explained everything to Uncle. Perhaps because he was older, he had forgiven me. When we hugged, I felt a long-lost sense of family. Uncle, I'm sorry. Good child, what are you saying? You were just deceived. After hearing my plan, Uncle thought for a long time and actually advised me to let it go. He didn't want me to put myself in danger, but I didn't listen. That was my mother's house. How could that scum of father live so well with a clear conscience? Cousin, what's the word on the villa? I've already sent a few groups of people to compete for it. They should be cracking under the pressure soon. But what if you win the bidding? Are you really going to buy it? Don't you like it there? Why not buy it? I said with a smile. You have a point. That night, I received another video call from Su Daqiang. Hua, let's just buy your Annie Lee's apartment. She needs the money now for her son's wedding and to get a new place, and she's helped me out before. Oh, but I don't have any money, Dad, I said smugly, crossing my legs. Besides, the Lihuan neighborhood isn't that great anymore. Haven't you heard? Some guy married his mistress a year after his wife died and even kicked his own son out. What does that kind of thing have to do with us? Besides, I'm used to living here. Dad, I'm getting married too. I have to ask my girlfriend's opinion, and we'll have to put her name on the deed. Just tell me, are you going to help with this or not? Su Daqiang's voice rose. I want to help. Annie Lee is so nice. How about this, Dad? You give me the down payment first. Let me get married, and then we'll talk to Annie Lee and pay the rest off slowly. Where will the money come from after you're married? Su Daqiang didn't fall for it. My girlfriend's family is rich. Her parents said that as long as I get married, they'll give me a 1 million bride price, and they'll give us a 2 million dowry. The entire bride price will come back with us. I'll pay Annie Lee in full right away. But my girlfriend has one condition. Her mother said the house must be registered in her daughter's name. It's a sign of sincerity. Is her family really rich? Su Daqiang felt a glimmer of hope again. Really? I said with certainty. Didn't you see the gift she brought you today? That watch is really expensive, tens of thousands. 18. When are you two planning to get married? Nodrus. We'll see when I have the money, I said unhurriedly. The house can't be in the woman's name, just in case. Su Daqiang said in a low voice, you can't be too careful. Just let Annie Lee sell the apartment to someone else. I can't take my money out of my investment account. If I take it out early, I have to pay a penalty, half of it. It's not worth it. Hua, you need to get a job too. You can't just keep staying in a hotel like this. Su Daqiang started lecturing again. Dad, I'm taking a rare break. Can't you stand to see your son relax for a bit? I'm just thinking about us having a better life sooner. Su Daqiang suppressed his anger. A better life? He probably just noticed I haven't sent money home recently. Dad, didn't you and Annie Lee tell me to start a family early? I can get a job anytime. Besides, I'm earning much more now than I would at a regular job. Let's leave it at that for now. I'm so tired today, I'm going to bed. With that, I hung up the video call. Let the two of them worry. A little later, I posted a few pictures of fine wine and coffee on my moments, along with a casual shot of a luxury car key, with a caption, "Thankful to have you." As expected, Su Daqiang was probably causing a storm at Annie Lee's place. Su Kai was getting married and needed money for a marital home, and the house the girl's family had their eye on required full payment. Originally, if I had bought the apartment in the Lihuan neighborhood, the 3 million plus their savings would have been just enough. But now, I wasn't buying it. I couldn't be bothered. It was like I was possessed, changing from a frugal person into someone who enjoyed life. Su Daqiang hadn't contacted me for several days. Since I came back, he no longer had daily video calls with me, and I didn't reach out to him either, but my Moments feed kept updating. Every day, I would post videos of myself enjoying life, things about huge investment returns, and at the same time, I would casually reveal the name of that investment firm. I knew he was busy raising money for that son of his these days. Annie Lee called me a few times, invited me over for dinner, but I turned her down every time with the excuse that I was with my girlfriend. But then she stopped calling too. The rumors in the Lihuan neighborhood grew more and more intense, eventually pointing to specific people. The older residents in the neighborhood probably knew something. Now Annie Lee had to wear a mask whenever she went out, and her son didn't dare to go back either. Her apartment became even harder to sell. On a sunny afternoon, Su Daqiang called me again, asking if I was free and inviting me to a meal. I readily agreed. Dad, you must be tired from a night's shifts recently, I said with a smile, pouring him a cup of tea. Su Daqiang looked much more haggard. Yeah, the company has overtime every day. It's not easy to make money, Su Daqiang sighed. How are things with your girlfriend now? We're still talking. I don't have the money to marry her right now. I smiled. As we were talking, his phone rang again. A spam call, he explained unhappily after hanging up. Oh, I looked at the phone in his hand. It was the one he posted on Moments a while ago, saying his son had bought it for him. It was clearly bought with my money. Recently, he had been overwhelmed with money troubles and the rumors. I noticed he hadn't been sharing much on his moments either. Is that wealth management thing of yours reliable? Of course it is. I've made quite a bit. I'm living off the interest every day now. Dad, if you had lent me some money back then to invest together, I would have already bought back the house in a Lihuan neighborhood by now. I deliberately opened my phone and dangled it in front of him. But it's too late now. You can't get in anymore. I'm just waiting for the returns to come in so I can give the bride price to my mother-in-law. I'll get double the dowry in return. Su Daqiang stared at his phone distractedly. Your Auntie Lee might be selling her house. That's great. Isn't Annie Lee in a hurry for money? I said excitedly. But didn't you say that place held your memories? Su Daqiang was taken aback. Dad, people have to move forward. I thought about it. If we buy that place, it will definitely bring back bad memories for you. We don't have the money right now anyway, so we can't help even if we wanted to. Someone else is buying it. Isn't that better? Su Daqiang frequently glanced at his lit-up phone. Dad, is something wrong at work? You should take the call. I'm going to the restroom. With that, I stood up. Didn't I tell you I'm talking to him now? He doesn't want to buy right now. I can't force him. As soon as I walked away, I saw him pick up the phone, grimacing as he spoke. I know Kai Kai needs some money over there. I said it from the start. We should have given him this 1 million for the bride price first. When the 2 million comes back, it would have been the bag, but you all just wouldn't listen. Now look, he doesn't have the money to buy a house, and he's not in a hurry to get married. I can't just force him. Fine, do whatever you want. Just wait until the house price drops to nothing. He hung up the phone angrily. I listened quietly, the corners of my mouth turning up into a smile. He started to get anxious. Might as well twist the knife a little more. Dad, was it something urgent at work? Is it handled? I pretended to have just returned and asked affectionately. It's handled. Just a coworker who took a day off today and didn't hand over his work properly, he said dismissively. My dad is still the best. After dinner, Su Daqiang took a taxi and left, saying he was going back to the company for the night shift. He didn't actually have any night shift to work. He was still at his old job, the one my maternal grandfather had arranged for him, and he had a pension after retirement. It was all just an act for me. Not long after, I got a call from Annie Lee. Hua, and he wanted to ask if you still want the house. I'm really in a rush for the money lately. Her tone was very anxious. Auntie, I understand, but I don't have the money on hand right now either. I really can't help. Thank you for helping me so much. Hua, don't say that. Annie has no choice either. My son is getting married. Auntie Lee's voice was tinged with tears. Right now, his son's girlfriend was probably making a scene. I understand. I'm getting married too. The bride's family said if I give $1 million in bride price, they'll give $2 million in dowry. I'm also waiting for my investment to mature. I'll be able to buy your house then, for the original $3 million, I said, pausing deliberately. The other side hesitated. I genuinely want to buy that house back. After all, it's full of memories. Besides, you were my mother's good friend. With that, I hung up, just enough to make my point. Then I sent Annie Lee a text message. Sorry, Annie, my girlfriend's call is coming in. Although there was no call, I kept my phone line busy. If all goes as planned, it won't be long before Su Daqiang's savings are completely gone. About 2 hours later, I posted a selfie holding an iPhone on my social media feed with the caption, Daily life of being kept by a rich woman. Just love this crude kind of love. Then I attached a Photoshop picture of holding hands that I found online. Around my barely visible neck hung a thick gold chain. In less than 2 minutes, Su Daqiang had liked my post. This was exactly the effect I wanted. The fish would soon take the bait. Before long, his message came through. Son, why can't I buy into that wealth management product of yours? Dad, you need a membership. You have to be cautious with investments. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. In our family, it's enough if I put my money in. You should keep yours to give me a wife. I just want to earn the money for your wife sooner. Seeing his message, I knew things were falling into place. Dad, it's so good to have you. This investment product has a membership system. Because the benefits are too good, you need 1 million now to even qualify to buy. I'll send you a link. With that, I sent him the link I had prepared long ago. Son, I don't have that much money. I wanted to laugh when I saw this sentence. If you don't have it, then scrape it together. Oh, what a pity. It seems like new users can get a return of $10,000 a month on $1 million. Then let's not deposit it, Dad. Keep it for your retirement. After that, I put down my phone and went to sleep. Ever since winning the 12 million, my life has become much more regular. I used to just be getting back to my shabby rental apartment in the middle of the night. It's so good to have money. Tonight, it was Su Daqiang's turn to have a sleepless night. 21. I had a good night's sleep. The next day, I woke up early as usual, had breakfast at the restaurant, and then went in disguise to the Lihua residential complex to listen to gossip. Have you heard? That family's son was also killed. How could there be such a person? I moved closer to ask what was going on, and a warm-hearted Annie told me that a man in a household here had murdered his wife, abandoned his own son, and immediately got together with his mistress. Is that true? I asked in a low voice. Of course it's true. We've all seen it. The Annie's voice immediately jumped 8 octaves. Just as she finished speaking, I caught a glimpse of Auntie Lee coming out of her door, wearing a hat and a mask, all wrapped up in her clothes. That's the woman, the mistress. The Annie next to me pointed her out. No way. She looks like a nice person. Auntie, it's not good to spread rumors. I said, cracking melon seeds with the look of someone watching a show. Auntie Lee walked to the entrance, said something to a man outside, hastily took something from him, and then headed back. How is it a rumor? Everyone around here knows about their family's business now. The Auntie gave me a dismissive look. Watching the hurried figure of Annie Lee, I made a phone call. All right, we can close the net. I bought some apples at the entrance of the complex, preparing to go to Annie Lee's place. As soon as I arrived at her door, I saw that the walls were covered in all sorts of graffiti. Things like mistress and shameless were written on them. I couldn't resist taking a picture, then knocked on the door as if nothing was wrong. No one opened it for a long time. I took out my phone to call Annie Lee. When she heard it was me, she said she wasn't home. I told her I was at her doorstep, and finally, the door slowly opened. What is it? Annie Lee poked her head out, looking left and right cautiously. Auntie, I came to see you all. I'm getting ready to go out and work, I said, holding up the apples and trying to get inside. Gomein. Annie Lee's face was clearly exhausted. As soon as I entered, I saw my dad's shoes by the door, the pair I had just bought for him not long ago. What's all this at the door? I asked deliberately. There's a woman upstairs who isn't very clean, and someone seeking revenge got the wrong door, she explained flusteredly. This apartment hasn't been sold yet. I walked around the living room twice. No, it's hard to sell. Huahua, do you have any connections? She looked at me with pleading eyes. It seemed she was at her wit's end. Auntie, I don't. I don't know many people around here. Actually, I'd really like to buy it, but I don't have the money on hand. I can only get my money in 3 months. If you could hold it. I tested the waters. A flicker of interest was obvious in her eyes. I feel bad saying this, but I will pay the money. It's just that the ownership might need to be transferred first, because as you know, I'm getting married. I can write you an IOU. All right, Huahua, we're all family here. I stared at her blankly, thinking I had misheard. WH what? You write me a note, and I'll transfer the ownership to you, she said again, more firmly. Then, Auntie, I'll get a lawyer to witness it. Excited, I immediately called my cousin, afraid she would change her mind. We were just about to leave the complex to handle the paperwork when Auntie Lee was stopped by an old man in a wheelchair. You wicked woman. You compensate me for my sister, my nephew, and my family's house. Auntie, what's this? I pretended not to understand, and even helped her block the old man. Sir, you must have the wrong person. Stay out of this. I'm looking for this woman. The old man swung his fist. I blocked it for Annie Lee, and the fist landed squarely on my face. Get Annie Lee out of here, quickly. I urgently signaled to my cousin. More and more onlookers were gathering. We finally managed to escape the scene. At the law firm, I wrote out an IOU for Annie Lee by hand. Auntie, the lawyer is here too. This shows more sincerity. I didn't ask about what had just happened, and she didn't explain. Afterward, we went to the relevant office. She took out her son's power of attorney and transferred the property to me. Seeing my name on the property deed, my heart gradually settled. I turned to the Annie and bowed a full 360 degrees. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you so much. No need. No need. We're family. Why be so polite? A long-lost smile appeared on Annie Lee's face. So, Auntie, when are you guys moving out? What? Moving out? Her eyes were full of confusion. Well, didn't you sell the apartment to me? I'm getting married soon. I explained slowly, wondering if they were still planning to cling to me. The house needs to be vacated. Then I will make sure she and Su Daqiang can't stay in this neighborhood. Soon, Andy Lee's expression clearly changed as she looked at the message on her phone. Hua Hua, Annie has something to take care of, so let's leave it at that for now. Auntie, take the IOU. I reminded her. Okay, see you next time. What do you think she'll do when she finds out she's been scammed? My cousin asked, watching her retreating back. Would someone who has done bad things dare to speak up after being scammed? Besides, this house was originally mine. Cousin, let's keep the house listed. Ask Uncle what a good selling price would be. Should we continue with those people? Continue until they move out. I looked at the property deed in my hand and turned to go to the cemetery. I had to tell my mother this news. 23. It was only after I posted on my social media that I was moving to a new city for work that Su Daqiang gave me a call. He only left one sentence, saying it was good to go and work, telling me to work hard and earn more money. Dad, you should work hard too. We owe Annie Lee $3 million now. He just nodded and said okay. Auntie Lee moved out of the apartment in the complex this weekend because people were blocking her door every day and some were even taking videos. So, in the middle of one night, she quietly slipped away. The house was completely empty and she didn't give me the keys. It seemed she had no intention of giving me the house. I asked her several times and she said she would give me the keys once I gave her the money. I originally thought the matter was over, but I don't know who posted the gossip online. The old man in the wheelchair was crying, saying he wanted to find his nephew and get the house back. He offered $100,000 to whoever found him. I rented a small cart to sell fruit, occasionally showing up near the Lihuan neighborhood in ragged clothes. Hua Hua, is your money coming soon? Can you pay Annie a little bit first? Annie Lee would call me from time to time and ask, Auntie, it's coming. I'll give it to you as soon as it arrives. I always replied this way. I was waiting. A month later, the investment Su Daqiang bought went bust. It was said he invested $1 million and lost everything. The company had even run off. He came to find me. Hua Hua, that investment you mentioned, wasn't it reliable? I checked the link for him and told him he had clicked on the wrong one. Then what should I do? Dad, you learn from your mistakes. The worst that can happen is I don't get married. It's fine if you don't get married, but Kai Kai is waiting for the money. He was so anxious he was about to cry. Who is Kai Kai? I immediately pressed. I misspoke. You can't not get married. This is $1 million. Dad, is the stuff online true? My question clearly stunned him. Do you really have an illegitimate son? His silence was deafening. Some netizens had already figured out that I was the illegitimate son. Someone even went to the old man in the wheelchair, saying they had found the nephew and were preparing for a family reunion tomorrow. Hua Hua, let me be honest with you. Actually, your Annie Lee and I got married a long time ago. It was after your mother passed away. He's not an illegitimate son. Then why did you hide it from me? I hadn't thought about how to tell you before. 24. I hung up the phone with a snap. Su Daqiang was truly shameless, clearly thinking of me as a blood bag. Then he couldn't blame me for being heartless. My picture was circulating wildly online. It was said the old man in the wheelchair was even coming to get a paternity test with me. When a reporter interviewed me, I acted scared and honest, looking uneducated. So pitiful. Exactly, the illegitimate son lives in his biological mother's house, while the real son sells fruit on the street. Is this something a human being would do? Did you hear? The biological father supposedly pretended to be poor to get money from his own son. That's too disgusting. Have you heard? The scumbag is living happily with his mistress and their son, a family of 3, while leaving his biological son to fend for himself. The online discussion grew more and more intense. Su Daqiang and Annie Lee couldn't sit still any longer. They found me one late night while I was selling oranges on the street. The wind was cold and biting, and I was thinly dressed. Hua Hua, the things online are all fake. Don't listen to them. We had our reasons too. Your brother Kai Kai is not an illegitimate son. Back then, after your mother passed away, we supported each other. I understand everything. Tears streamed down my face as I pretended to understand. A hidden camera not far away captured everything. I will explain everything clearly to the media. Thank you. After speaking, I knelt down. The two of them immediately helped me up. The next day, the scene of the family reunion was crowded. The old man in the wheelchair held my hand, tears streaming down his face. This is my nephew. Uncle has had such a hard time looking for you. I turned my face away and said I wasn't, but another video of me was exposed by netizens. It was the video of Su Daqiang and Annie Lee looking for me, and then me kneeling. Too despicable to even threaten the person involved. Oh my God, the biological son is too pitiful to be extorted like this. At the same time, a recording was released online. The market price of this house is $2 million. You just give me $3 million. If you don't have money, you can get a loan. Inside was Annie Lee's voice and my meek voice saying yes. Is this even human? Justice must be served for the person involved. It's not like that. It's not like that. Hua, explain to everyone, you bought that house voluntarily, right? Annie Lee anxiously ran to the scene to find me. I lowered my head, wringing my hands. Are you even human to force someone like that? The anger of the netizens drowned out Auntie Lee's explanation. Auntie Lee took out an IOU, on which it was written that I owed her $3 million. It was taken by people at the scene to be photographed, saying she was coercing me. She couldn't argue her way out of it. Hua, hurry up and explain. Su Daqiang shook my hand. I still kept my head down and said nothing. 25. Even more explosive news came. Someone dug up that Su Daqiang and Annie Lee were together before my mom. Someone else revealed that the two of them got married as soon as my mom died, and Su Daqiang had transferred the assets. Scumbag, such a scumbag. My heart aches for the biological son. My heart aches for the original wife. Sob, the original wife had it so rough. How heartbroken the original wife would be if she saw what her son went through. Make the homewrecker spit out the house. Everyone, don't worry. Annie Lee has already transferred the house to me. I took out the property deed, and Annie Lee looked at me gratefully. Don't be fooled. You even wrote an IOU. They sold it to you. Netizens started to cry injustice for me, and the crowd was once again in an uproar. No, it's returned to you. Returned to you, it's for you, Hua. No money needed. Auntie Lee immediately explained. Really? I don't want it. I lower my head, looking like an honest man. Give it back to him. Get it back to him. Netizens both online and offline were shouting. Auntie Lee kept apologizing in front of everyone. From beginning to end, the good son, Su Kai, that they both spoke of never appeared. He was busy coaxing his wife. After all, the house he had originally planned to buy had flown away. How was it? Was my acting good? In my uncle's house, he asked me smugly. Not bad, old but vigorous. I gave him a thumbs up. After this incident, Su Daqiang and his wife were homeless. Later, it was said that they went back to the countryside. Su Daqiang had a stroke, and Annie Lee left him. Annie Lee didn't dare to ask me for money anymore. I changed all my contact information and sold the house in the Lihua community for more than $2 million. I gave all the money to my uncle. This was my mother's dowry back then. My uncle didn't want it. I said I had money now and forced it on him. As for the more than $1 million that Su Daqiang was swindled out of, he didn't dare to report it to the police. I donated it silently. I don't want ill-gotten gains. The end.